Welcome back, guys, to another film review. Today, we're talking about the much anticipated, long-awaited Killers of the Flower Moon. Killers of the Flower Moon is directed by one of the greatest living directors, that is Martin Scorsese, who's directed other wonderful films like Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, Goodfellas, The Departed, The Wolf of Wall Street, Silence, The Irishman, and many, many, many more films. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Lily Gladstone, Robert De Niro, and many other wonderful cast members. This is a much anticipated film based on the non-fiction novel that recounts the story of the Osage murders. Killers of the Flower Moon became my most anticipated film once Dune Part 2 got pushed to 2024, as I am a huge fan of Martin Scorsese. He is one of the most important working directors alive today, one of the best directors that we have, directing some great films over the years and constantly being a champion of cinema. He's directed some truly amazing films and just continues to do so in recent years with films like The Wolf of Wall Street, Silence, and The Irishman before Killers of the Flower Moon. It took him 7 years to develop this film, and I knew, it'd be coming out for a while. It had a stellar trailer, as many of his films do, which probably showed before more than half of the films that I've seen in the past 6 months, which made it incredibly difficult to not get excited about this movie. And this is not yet taking into account the amazing cast that we have in this film. Once again, collaborating with Leonardo DiCaprio, and for I believe the 10th time with Robert De Niro, which makes it even crazier that these two acting behemoths are coming together to share the screen again with their frequent collaborator, that is Martin Scorsese. Essentially, what I want to say is my excitement played a key factor in how I viewed this film. This film is more than a movie. It is an important depiction of the Osage story and shows their culture in an honest way, while also showing once again how the indigenous communities in this land have been screwed over time and time again since European settlers arrived. This film is expertly crafted with deep attention to detail, from the cinematography by Rodrigo Prieto, to the production design, to the music, to the performances. Leonardo DiCaprio is giving another amazing performance of this fascinating, complicated character that is based on a very real person. It is distinct from many of his other performances in the past, as it is much more subdued. However, he definitely does have his fair share of Oscar moments in this 3-hour and 26-minute runtime. Opposite him is Lily Gladstone, the Native American actress who interprets Molly Burkhart, who is Leonardo DiCaprio's wife in the film. She gives a much more nuanced and painful performance as the key protagonist of the Osage Nation. She has a very difficult task in bearing the brunt of the responsibility of being a representative of the Osage Nation in this story and of their tragedy. De Niro, of course, is an incredible actor, and there's no doubting that this performance at roughly 80 years of age is impressive. However, I would have loved to have seen someone else cast for this role, to see someone different play against DiCaprio and Lily Gladstone. Don't get me wrong, it works for the film, and I'm not criticizing his solid performance, but I would have loved to have seen a different casting choice. This film is a masterpiece, and there is no denying that Martin Scorsese has done it yet again. However, I will circle back here to my expectations of the film and my own feelings around it. My expectations were far too high before going to see this film, and therefore any movie would have had a difficult time meeting them where they were. Considering that grain of salt, I do think that the film felt a bit long. It definitely engaged me from beginning to end. I was gripped by the filmmaking and the story, but the length took a slight toll just due to its pacing. Martin Scorsese recently commended the pacing of films like Ari Aster's Midsommar and Beau is Afraid, seemingly implying that those films and their pacing helped to serve in some way, shape, or form as some inspiration for the pacing of Killers of the Flower Moon. I would argue that those two films have faster pacing than Killers of the Flower Moon. Still, it is an extremely difficult task to deliver a film that justly tells this long, arduous chapter in the history of the Osage people. However, Martin Scorsese did write by this story, and I believe he told it the best way that he could. It is a masterpiece. It just is a tough film to digest, and for me, the length is felt at times. All this being said, this film is like a painting by Van Gogh, a book by George Orwell, a play by William Shakespeare, or a film by Stanley Kubrick. Whether you like it or not, this film is a masterpiece that authentically tells the true history of violence in the US at the behest of money, and to the detriment and destruction of marginalized peoples and communities, especially the Native American one. It is a story of American corruption and its deep roots in our history, while also being a story of the Osage culture and their suffering. Whether or not this masterpiece is your favorite in the filmography of Martin Scorsese is ultimately going to be up to you. I'm excited to watch it again in the future with some distance and without all of the hype and expectation behind it, to gain a new perspective and see what my thoughts will be. I was deeply affected and once again entrapped by the filmmaking web of Martin Scorsese, even though at this moment it isn't my favorite Martin Scorsese movie of all time. It very well may be one of the most important. I highly encourage you, please, I do recommend going to the cinema and seeing it for yourself so you can form your own opinion. And it is currently in IMAX if you can, and I think that sounds like a fantastic way to see it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate you coming to my channel and checking things out. Let me know in the comments below. Obviously, once you check out Killers of the Flower Moon, what did you think of it? If you haven't seen it yet, let me know what is your favorite Martin Scorsese film. And if you enjoy this video, my other videos, or anything on my channel, or if you just watch this video and you think, hey, this is halfway decent, go ahead, give it a like, subscribe, and once again, I will see you guys in the next review.